If you're watching this video right now, then prepare yourself, because you're about to hear the one story Shu Kai and Tan Songyun never wanted anyone to know. In the next few minutes, you'll discover the exact drama script they turned down, the scenes that shocked fans, and the unbelievable reason they refused it, a reason so personal, so dangerously close to the truth, that even their agencies tried to bury it. And if you stay until the end, you'll see the real-life moment that proves the script wasn't fiction, it was their reality. Trust me, you don't want to miss a second of this. Right from the beginning, the script wasn't just another romance drama. It wasn't typical, it wasn't cliché, it was almost a mirror. A mirror reflecting everything Shu Kai and Tan Songyun had spent years avoiding, deflecting, or laughing off in interviews. It all started when a certain top-tier screenwriter, known for exposing real celebrity emotions through fictional plots, approached them with what many insiders claimed was the most intense modern romance script of the year. The moment Tan Songyun read the first page, her heart tensed. Not because the story was bad, but because it felt like someone had been watching her. Watching her and Shu Kai. Watching their behind-the-scenes interactions, their unscripted glances, their unspoken moments. Even the drama's opening scene felt like it had been taken straight from their real lives. It began with a young, cheerful actress who always hid pain behind her smile. A woman adored by audiences but haunted by the pressure of never disappointing anyone. Sound familiar? Industry insiders whispered that the female lead was clearly inspired by Tan Songyun, down to the smallest details. The male lead. A tall, striking, sometimes cold but secretly gentle actor. A man with a reputation that sometimes overshadowed his true heart. Someone who pretended not to care but cared too much. Someone who acted tough but softened instantly around one particular woman. It didn't take a genius to see who that was modeled after. But it was the first intense confrontation scene in the script that made Tan Songyun freeze. In that scene, the female lead was crying backstage during a live award show, overwhelmed, exhausted, and silently breaking down in the one place she thought no one would see her. But someone did. The male lead. He saw her, walked straight to her, and without saying a word, reached out to wipe her tears. Tan Songyun blinked, stunned. Because this scene wasn't fiction. It had actually happened. Fans didn't know about it, but the crew of a specific event did. Tan Songyun once cried backstage after a stressful series of filming schedules, and Shu Kai was the first, the only person to notice and go to her. No cameras caught it. No reporters leaked it. It lived only in the memory of a few staff members, until the screenwriter wrote it into the script. Coincidence? Tan Songyun didn't believe that for 1 second. But if that scene shook her, the next one shattered Shu Kai. The male lead in the script was portrayed as someone who pretended he didn't have feelings for the actress he cared about, because the timing was always wrong. Because he didn't want scandals. Because he didn't want her hurt by public pressure. Instead, he kept his distance while secretly protecting her from backstage. Exactly like Shu Kai had done. His hands tightened when he reached that part of the script. Because in real life, he had protected her from online hate, from rumors, even from a casting decision that could have harmed her image. Something the public still doesn't know. Something he never told her directly. The script exposed everything. But the most shocking scene, the scene that made both of them close the script and stare at each other in silence, came right in the middle. The storyline revealed that the actors had fallen for each other long before they realized it. Not through big romantic gestures, but through quiet moments, shared snacks between scenes, long conversations after midnight shoots, and an unspoken understanding that made everyone around them suspicious. There was one particular moment in the script where the female lead falls asleep on set, exhausted. The male lead sees her shivering, walks over, takes off his coat, and gently drapes it over her, then sits beside her, guarding her from the cold wind blowing into the studio. Tan Songyun felt her breath hitch. Because that exact thing had happened while filming their project. She had dozed off during a break, and when she woke up, Shu Kai's jacket was wrapped around her. She never asked how it got there, and he never mentioned it. The scriptwriter somehow knew. And that was the mystery. Who had told them? Who had reported those private moments? A staff member? A friend? Someone in the production team? Or, Was the scriptwriter simply too observant? But the next scene was the final blow. The drama's turning point involved a hidden relationship, the male lead secretly dating the female lead, meeting late at night in an empty cafe, whispering about their dreams, their fears, and the impossibility of being together publicly. The scene was beautiful and heartbreaking. Shu Kai read it and went completely still. Because years ago, during a project they shared, Shu Kai and Tan Songyun had done something similar. Not romantic, not scandalous, but definitely private. They had met at a small tea shop past midnight after a long filming day. They talked for hours about the industry, pressure, goals, and strangely, the feeling of being understood for the first time. Fans didn't know this. Media didn't know this. But the scriptwriter knew. And the line written at the end of that scene hit them both like a punch to the chest. Some stories are too real to be acted, because acting them would reveal the truth. Shu Kai closed the script. Tan Songyun swallowed hard. Their managers were pacing. Their agencies were already drafting potential schedules. The contract offer was massive, the drama was guaranteed to trend. But the actors? They sat in silence. It wasn't embarrassment. It wasn't fear of rumors. It wasn't even the parallels to their personal lives. It was vulnerability. For the first time, someone else had seen the truth between them, the truth they never discussed, never defined, never dared to explore fully. Accepting the drama meant letting the world see everything they had kept quietly between themselves. The script was not fiction. It was a confession. But the real twist came later when the agencies asked for final decisions. Tan Songyun was the first to speak. "This isn't a drama," she said softly. "It's too close." Shu Kai's eyes were steady. "It feels like someone wrote our story." And then, in a rare moment of honesty, he added something he had never said out loud before. "If we film this, we won't be acting." Her breath caught at that. Because she understood exactly what he meant. Their agencies insisted. The producer begged. Even the scriptwriter personally reached out, saying the roles were meant for them. But both stars declined. Together. A quiet refusal that sent shockwaves through production meetings. Instead of giving an official explanation, they simply said the script did not fit their schedule. But insiders knew the truth. They didn't reject it because it was bad, they rejected it because it was too real. Yet the story didn't end there. Weeks later, the same drama team attempted to revise the script, toning down the parallels and removing scenes that matched Shu Kai and Tan Songyun's real interactions. But even after the changes, both of them refused again. Because even without the specific scenes, the essence of the script was still the same. A story about two actors who cared for each other more deeply than they allowed themselves to admit. A story about timing. About closeness. About fear. About unspoken emotions. About them. Rumors spread across the industry that Shu Kai privately requested never to be offered similar scripts again, scripts that blurred the line between fiction and his personal feelings. Some insiders even claimed Tan Songyun stayed unusually quiet during the weeks after reading it, as if the story had reopened parts of her heart she thought she'd buried under professionalism. Then one day, completely unexpectedly, something happened that reignited the whispers. They reunited at a public event. Fans noticed it instantly, the eye contact. The comfortable body language. The familiarity that never disappeared even after years apart. At one moment, a photographer captured Shu Kai leaning in to ask Tan Songyun something quietly, and she laughed, the exact soft, genuine laugh described in the script. The scriptwriter's words echoed again. Some stories write themselves long before anyone puts them on paper. For fans, that one picture was enough to restart the theories. But the real proof came backstage. Someone no one knows who leaked a short clip from that event, showing Tan Songyun slightly tripping over a cable. Before anyone could react, Shu Kai immediately reached out, his hand going instinctively to her back, steadying her. Their eyes met. She smiled at him, the same warm, grateful smile from years ago. The script had a similar moment too. Coincidence? Or destiny? Either way, this moment made fans ask the question the industry has been whispering for years. Why did Shu Kai react so naturally? So fast? So familiarly? People don't protect strangers like that. They protect someone they care about. Someone who matters. Someone who once shared a story with them, a story too real to put on screen. And so, the script remained untouched, unacted, and locked away. The drama was eventually offered to other actors, but it never had the same magic. The production lost steam. Investors pulled out. The project eventually died quietly, as if the story itself refused to be told by anyone else. Some scripts belong only to the people who inspired them. Some scripts were never meant for the audience. Some scripts are lived, not filmed. Shu Kai and Tan Songyun didn't refuse that drama because they didn't like it. They refused it because it was the closest the public had ever come to discovering the truth about them. A truth still hidden. A truth still unfinished. A truth still alive. But one thing is certain. If that script ever gets revealed to the public one day, fans will finally understand just how deep their real story goes. And maybe, just maybe, the world will realize that some on-screen couples don't need a drama to prove their chemistry. They already lived it. They just chose to keep it off camera. For now. The moment Shu Kai and Tan Songyun walked out of the private conference room where the script was first handed to them, the air around them felt heavy, almost charged with a truth neither of them wanted to touch. The producers thought they could convince them, their managers thought they just needed time to cool off, but the real reason behind their hesitation was something nobody outside the two of them could understand. Because the script didn't just reflect their past. It reflected everything they were still running from. That night, Tan Songyun sat alone in her living room, the unopened script lying on the table like a ticking time bomb. She poured herself tea, her hands trembling slightly, because every time she thought about those scenes, the memories hit deeper than she expected. It wasn't the storyline that frightened her. It was the familiarity. Take that scene where the female lead discovers the male lead secretly defended her against an online scandal by using his influence behind the scenes. In the script, he denies it at first, brushing it off as coincidence, but the truth is painfully clear: he protected her because he cared. Tan Songyun remembered the real-life version of that moment too clearly. It happened during one of her lowest points, a wave of online hate, accusations, false narratives, all hitting at once like a storm she didn't see coming. Her team told her to stay offline, lie low, and keep quiet. She did. But someone else wasn't quiet. Late at night, while scrolling through her messages, she found a forwarded screenshot from a close staff member. It was Shu Kai's conversation with a high-ranking PR director, firm, blunt, and surprisingly emotional. He wasn't requesting help. He was demanding it. He called the rumor ridiculously fabricated, insisted on emergency clarification posts, and even offered to personally speak to media outlets. He didn't tell Tan Songyun he did that. He never bragged. He never hinted at it. But she knew. And now, that same moment was written word for word in a drama script. No wonder her chest tightened every time she looked at the pages. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, Shu Kai wasn't doing much better. His script was spread out across the coffee table, each scene clipped with his reluctant attention. But the one that got him, really got him, was the argument scene. In the drama, the male lead lashes out at the female lead, not because he's angry at her, but because he's angry at himself for caring too much. He accuses her of being careless, of not protecting herself, of letting people walk all over her. But the twist is simple. He's only angry because he's scared of losing her. Shu Kai remembered a day that played out almost exactly the same. During a long filming day, Tan Songyun fainted briefly from exhaustion, a combination of heat, stress, and never-ending takes. The staff panicked, but she woke up insisting she was fine, brushing it off with her usual smile. Shu Kai wasn't amused. He wasn't calm. He pulled her aside, voice low but sharp, telling her she needed to take care of herself, telling her she pushed herself too hard, telling her she should have said something earlier. But the truth was in his eyes. He was terrified. And of course, she had laughed it off gently, patting his arm, telling him not to worry so much. But he did. And he always had. The scriptwriter somehow knew. That's what unsettled him. As Shu Kai flipped the pages again, another striking scene caught him, the one where the male lead accidentally reveals his feelings in a moment of vulnerability. It wasn't a grand confession or dramatic kiss. It was subtle. Raw. A leaked emotion he didn't mean to expose. The female lead overhears him talking to a friend, admitting that she makes him feel safe, that her presence calms him, that she's the only person he doesn't pretend around. Shukai froze when he read that. Because once, late at night, after a celebratory wrap-up dinner, he had said something similar. Not to her, but to a friend after a couple of drinks. He didn't know she overheard that. He didn't know she had stood behind the door, stunned, her heart racing. But she did. And now, that exact moment was written in script form. Coincidence. There were too many specifics for it to be coincidence. The next morning, they met again, reluctantly but inevitably, at their agency's headquarters. Their managers were waiting with hopeful smiles. The producers had sent messages all night, dangling bigger offers, promising creative freedom, even teasing the idea of adjusting the story to respect their boundaries. None of this mattered. Because when Shu Kai and Tan Songyun sat across from each other, something unspoken thickened the room. Neither of them opened the script again. They didn't need to. Their eyes said everything. "This isn't just acting, is it?" she finally whispered. He swallowed. "No. It's not." There was a pause, long, slow, loaded with years of careful distance. If someone had walked in at that moment, they would have mistaken the silence for awkwardness. But anyone who knew them, really knew them, would have recognized it as something else. Recognition. A shared truth they had avoided for far too long. Her voice broke the silence first. "If we do this drama, they'll see everything." He nodded. "Exactly." Another pause. "And if we don't," she added softly, "they'll still wonder why." She was right. Their refusal would spark the exact kind of rumors the drama depicted. People would question why two talented actors with great chemistry suddenly backed out of a perfect opportunity. They would assume. They would dig. They would connect dots. And that was the danger. Sometimes avoiding a story creates a bigger story. Shu Kai leaned back, rubbing the back of his neck, a nervous habit he usually hid from cameras. "If we film it," he said quietly, "I don't think I can pretend." Her breath caught, not because she didn't expect that, but because hearing him say it felt like a confession all on its own. "I know," she whispered. And that was it. The moment the decision became irreversible. Not because they didn't want the project. Not because they didn't appreciate the script. But because acting in it would expose a truth they had carefully guarded with years of professionalism and silence. So when their managers returned, eager and excited, Shu Kai and Tan Songyun looked at each other once more, a silent agreement passing between them, before giving their final answer. No. The refusal shook the industry. Producers scrambled. Investors panicked. Headlines speculated everything from busy schedule conflicts to creative differences. But insiders knew better. And rumors began to swirl. Rumors that the script was too personal. Rumors that the story was based on a real relationship. Rumors that the characters weren't fictional at all. But the biggest twist wasn't the refusal. It was what happened days later. The scriptwriter, mysterious, sharp, observant, requested a private meeting with both actors again. A meeting they did not expect. A meeting that changed everything. Because the scriptwriter revealed something they never saw coming. The story wasn't inspired by rumors, or leaks, or speculation. It was inspired by watching them. Watching their interviews. Watching their behind-the-scenes clips. Watching their subtle gestures, the ones neither of them realized were visible. The writer said one chilling line that stayed with them long after. "You too write your story with your eyes. I just put it on paper." The room went silent. Tan Songyun's heart pounded. Shu Kai looked away. No one had ever said something like that to them, so blunt, so perceptive, so accurate. They left the building that day with the script in their hands one last time, and a question neither of them dared ask. If everyone else could see the truth between them, how long could they keep pretending they didn't? The story might have ended there, but the tension didn't. Their connection remained unspoken, humming underneath every denied interview question, every stolen glance during an award night, every moment they crossed paths in hallways filled with cameras. The script faded away. But the real story? It refused to die. If you enjoyed this continuation, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And now tell me in the comments, do you think Shu Kai and Tan Songyun made the right choice refusing the drama? Which moment from this continuation shocked you the most? And do you think their real story is still unfolding behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts below, I'll be reading.